After a dominant first half, USC gives up yet another huge lead, allowing Colorado to storm back into the game. It went from a complete and utter beatdown in the first half to a predictable and embarrassing meltdown in the second. Is it time to panic, or can USC still reach their goals of winning the Pac-12 and making their first ever college football playoff? We'll talk about it all next. What's up, guys? My name is Gabe and welcome into the Trojan Blade. I'll be completely honest, I do not want to talk about this game today. I hated that game. It reminded me so much of the Cal and Tulane games from last year, and I just thought we were past games like this, to be entirely honest. So we will talk about this game today, and then we're turning the page to Arizona. And guys, before we do get into it today, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. Man, if you guys want to go see some very entertaining and high-scoring games, look no further than SeatGeek. They have tons of tickets available for games at the Collie or any other games on the schedule. So head over there, get yourself some tickets, and make sure to use my promo code TrojanBlade at checkout for $20 off your first order. Thank you so much, SeatGeek. Thanks so much for being here. Let's get into this video. Okay, so to open things up, I actually have a question for you all. Tomorrow's viewer comment video is going to be a state of the program video completely driven by you guys. I want to know what you think of Alex Grinch, the USC defense, and the expectations for the rest of the year. Please comment down below, and I'll be using a bunch of those in tomorrow's video. Alright, so let's talk about this game. So this game was strange. Really was a tale of two halves for SC. When the game was over, my immediate thoughts were that we played a great first half on both sides of the ball, and that the second half was a disaster from start to finish. Now that's not what happened during this game. I don't know why my perception of it was so distorted, but I've rewatched this game twice since Saturday, and I have some thoughts. So first up, let's do what the Trojan defense wasn't able to do and tackle the offense. So we came out of the gates fast. The first drive was all quick game and was capped off by an awesome Marshawn Lloyd touchdown where he cuts back across the field and just strolls into the end zone. The game plan offensively all year has looked incredibly uninventive and vanilla, and that continued in this game. There is zero doubt in my mind that we will see some stuff against Notre Dame that we haven't seen all year. Now, it wasn't all perfect though. We did turn the ball over in this game. There was a second half interception that Caleb just underthrew. No issue, honestly. Caleb is allowed to have the occasional mistake. He's going to have to do a lot worse than that to get an ounce of criticism from me. But the first half fumble can't happen. I know we fell on it, but still. These last few games, Justin Dedich is giving me serious 2018 Toa Lobendon love of my life vibes. We've got to get those snaps down. It's unacceptable at this level. Lincoln Riley's offense is a timing-based offense. You can't be throwing things off because of inaccurate snaps. And the offensive line really struggled as a whole in this one. I was extremely disappointed in their run blocking. All five of them were not good in this game, and against the frontline Colorados, we've got to be better. Now, there are some other issues with the offense, in particular with the second half play calling, but I have to give Caleb Williams his flowers. 30 of 40, 403 yards and 6 scores. He was brilliant, he was Superman, he was everything we needed and so much more. That performance simply should have been enough to separate. 13 just deserves better, plain and simple. Brendan Rice and Taj Washington have locked down their spot as our 1A and 1B. Brendan in particular is showing us that his Cotton Bowl performance was not a fluke. This is simply who he is now. His God-given ability combined with his work ethic have turned him into a legitimate star receiver. If you can tell, I'm putting off talking about the bad parts of this game for as long as possible. But guys, seeing Jude Wolfe catching a touchdown in this one made me feel so happy, truly. That guy has been through so much, hasn't complained once. To see him finally score was a really nice moment, and I hope he keeps getting those opportunities. Alright, so let's talk about the issues with the play calling. So once again, Marshawn Lloyd getting only 13 carries is not great. I think I read somewhere that from 3 minutes left in the third quarter until the end of the game, we only ran it a grand total of 3 times, which is inexcusable and frankly unexplainable. Look, Heismans aren't won in September. We need to play and coach smarter. I know I have an untrained eye, but Lincoln needs to help the defense out instead of trying to get Caleb's stats up. We could have done so much more to help kill the clock so the defense had less time to give up points. And speaking of the USC defense, let's just tear this band-aid off and talk about them. Okay, we all know the drill here. The defense is bad. Despite what Lincoln says, the problems are the same as last year. Our defensive line is better, that's the only difference. So I'm not going to break down everything that went wrong for them in this game. We all have untrained eyes, so who knows what's actually going on, but I do have some basic thoughts I'd like to share with you all. Alex Grinch is bad at his job. Shocking, I know. Bryson Shaw played all but one of the defensive snaps in this game. Guys, I like Bryson. He's a good guy, he's a good leader, but he should not play another defensive snap unless we're in garbage time. He was dreadful, an absolute liability in this game. He couldn't cover or tackle anybody. If accountability was a real thing in the USC defensive coaching staff's operation, that wouldn't have happened. And guys, as bad as Bryson was, he wasn't even our worst graded defender by PFF. That belongs to Tackett Curtis, who for the 5th straight game has done absolutely nothing to earn playing time. I don't know what more the coaching staff needs to see here. This is game 5 of him just not being productive at all. And guys, Shotgun Spratling pointed out that Eric Gentry played 2 series in this game. Just 2. Both in the second quarter, and both drives ended in punts. So what happens after that? He doesn't play another defensive snap. I mean, make it make sense. Grinch's defensive operation is a joke. Ugh, see, I'm getting all angry just talking about this. So let's just roll through the rest of the negatives here. Jack Sullivan has been a disappointment. Damani has been a disappointment. Bryson and Max shouldn't play at all. Tackett shouldn't play at all either. Rajon is better than Tackett, but even he is making big mental mistakes. We've now seen cryptic social media posts from both Sam Green and Keon Bars. This feels like it's teetering to me. As a Browns fan, I know what it looks like when a unit starts to become fractured and potentially quit on a coach, and you're starting to see some of those early warning signs here. I mean, you see Grinch on the sideline, he doesn't seem to interact with anyone. The players don't play like they're completely bought into what he's doing. On our Patreon film study last week, we covered the body language of some of the Trojans, and it wasn't great, guys. I mean, you have Bryson Shaw post-game going on a rant about how it's the players' fault and not Grinch's. I mean, I guess that's why Bryson plays so much, because he's Grinch's #1 defender. I don't know, man. This is not good. And I'm not going to believe it's going to get better until they show me. Any trust or faith I had in them is completely out the window. This Colorado offensive line is horrible, and they ran the ball all over us in the first half and second half. I've seen some people say, oh, well, maybe USC just took their foot off the gas. Guys, they were having explosive plays in the first half too. It wasn't just the second half when we got up big. There are some huge problems on this defense that are going to cost us at some point. And until they play better, we are not a true championship contender. We're just not. I have a few more negative talking points here, but frankly, I'm sick of it. So let's just put on our sunshine pumper sunglasses and talk about the defensive positives that came out of this one. Mason Cobb had by far his best game as a Trojan. That's the guy we saw at Oklahoma State. Uber productive, always near the ball, extremely smart player, knows what's going on. I loved what we saw from him. Having a solid player like that in the middle is going to make things easier for everyone else, although we didn't necessarily see that in this game, but I digress. I think Sierra Wright has separated himself as USC's best corner. And don't get it twisted, he hasn't been great, but out of what I've seen, I think he's been the best corner. Braylon Shelby played 9 snaps in this game, and I thought he stood out as well. Every time he plays, it seems like he gets into the opponent's backfield, so of course he doesn't play a lot. And with the guys that are ahead of him, I actually get it, but really liked what I saw from him. Christian Roland Wallace obviously made a huge pick in this game. I really like what I've been seeing from him. He's getting better and better as each week goes by. Against Notre Dame, he's going to be very important. They have some bigger, more physical wideouts. I think he's going to match up well against them. But yeah, guys, overall, this defensive performance, I mean, terrible, frankly. Unacceptable, foot off the gas. I don't care what excuses people make. I'm tired of making excuses. This group just needs to play better. And not just one individual player. It's great that Mason Cobb had a good game, but the other people around him need to step up. The blown assignments, the missed tackles, I mean, it's just tiring, honestly. And it's very deflating because I feel bad for Caleb. I talked about this in my instant reaction on Saturday. But just when he thought maybe he doesn't have to be perfect, he doesn't have to be Superman every week. No, he does. The defense isn't fixed. It seems like we're going to waste his last year, which is really sad. I'm not throwing in the towel on the year. I still think we could win the Pac-12, but I think any realistic conversation of us winning the national title are out the door now. All right, guys, so that will do it for me today. I'm so sick of talking about this game. I'm sick of talking about this defense. I really am. So if you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when we do the viewer comment video. You guys are awesome. Take care and fight on.